Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for joining us, and thank you for liking and subscribing. We're here with Trish Munn from Eyes Open, and Eyes Open is a cyber safety company. And Trish, tell us what's new about the company.
Well, we've been going for 11 years now, or just over 11 years. And the last couple of years, we've actually been working very hard to write certificate courses. So we have just had a Certificate 4 and a Certificate 2 in social media safety approved by ASQA, which means that we now own the first qualifications in our industry.
Who should be interested in this sort of
these courses?
Certificate?
Yeah. So the Certificate 4 is pitched at educators, so it will be for teachers, guidance counsellors, social workers. And HR would be good too. People working in HR would benefit from knowing how to protect people on social media. The Certificate 2 is pitched at year 10, 11 and 12. Mm-hmm. So what our intention is that kids can actually learn how to protect themselves better and have a qualification that when they finish school will also open some doors for when they go to work for companies, being able to protect themselves and the company with being safer on social media.
So the Certificate 4 is really aimed at adults?
Yes. Yeah. So Certificate 4 is generally used for the people finishing with the Certificate 4 would be able to educate other people in this area. So
hence why
or
it would be
assist
useful
other people.
For HR and administrators.
And guidance counsellors. So when kids have things going on at school, the guidance counsellors are really fully equipped to be able to assist children to protect themselves or recognise and respond to social media issues.
Where can people find this course?
So watch this space. We're actually working with an RTO at the moment, but it will be available Australia-wide really soon. So we'll be announcing those places on our website and all our socials very shortly. So, yeah.
It's exciting.
It is very exciting. It's been a long journey.
So how long was this whole process?
Well, we've been researching for 11 years. So I actually flagged in 2012, I started talking about wanting to write a qualification, that I would like to research and write a qualification. When I met Dan in 2013, one of the big playing factors in me deciding he was going to be my husband was actually the fact that he was already working, writing units of competency for a Certificate 4. So I think it was maybe our first date that I said to him, can you do that for any industry or only the health industry? And when he told me that he could write units of competency for any industry, I asked him to marry me. Yeah, so it was a good addition to the Eyes Open social media family. Mm. Yeah.
And what prompted you to start this 11 years ago?
Well, I had teenage children. They wanted to use social media. We had lived down south and come back to Brisbane, and they wanted to be on social media to stay connected to their friends. And all I was seeing in the media was scary stories. And so I went looking for how to protect children, and there wasn't information out there. So what I did was I had been working in social media marketing, and I had done a whole stack of courses on how to make things go far and wide, so how to make things go viral. And I didn't love marketing, so I gave up my job and decided I would start a new job in a couple of weeks. And I think it was like 3 days later, I woke up with a really clear thought that actually I could use what I know about making things go viral, turn everything on its head, turn everything in reverse, and that would make things private. So then I went and had a look at every news article I could find and started writing some case studies on things that had gone wrong on social media and how people were being exploited. And what I found was that in every instance, a lack of privacy and security was a thing. So I then tested all the privacy settings. Back then it was only Facebook, but I tested all the privacy settings on Facebook and checked how I could make things private and kept tweaking it until I knew exactly what to set things to. I made a workshop around that. I ran it past a friend of mine who was a police officer in the UK, and we came up with that teaching people about privacy settings was a really good way to help people stay safer. So it sort of went from there. The original plan was actually just to run workshops on how to do Facebook privacy settings, teaching parents how to teach their children. And within 12 months I was teaching in schools, and it expanded. I think the first year was Facebook, the second year was Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat. And the year after that it was exploded into lots of things that kids were using.
What age would you say that children are starting to use Snapchat?
Snapchat's ridiculously young. Really little kids know how to use Snapchat. A lot of children are actually saying, even in primary school, so I teach down to prep, and I've had preps that have Snapchat on their iPad.
Is it the filters that
they love
really
the filters.
lures them in? The bunny ears and the whatever?
Yeah, they love the filters. And they're usually, in all honesty, I'm sure that the majority of children that are really young that are on it would have mum and dad and maybe cousins to send things to.
Mm-hmm.
But by sort of year 3, there is kids that are sending to friends and, spending quite a bit of time on Snapchat. So, it is one that's certainly being given to children very young. It's actually supposed to be an age minimum of 13. So,
which makes sense to me.
Yeah, but that's actually not. It's misunderstood, because it's not actually because it's a law or a legal or a safety thing, really, that it's 13. The reason that the age minimum is 13 is all around COPPA, which is the Children's Online Protection Policy Association or something along those lines. I actually never say it I never extend it. But it's the COPPA Act, which is that organisations like tech companies are not allowed to save and store data about children under the age of 13 or 12 and under without parents' written permission to do so. And so rather than try to get a parent to say, yes, you can store information about my child, they just make the age.
Because it's easier.
Yeah.
Just make it 13.
13. Yeah. And then if the child lies and says that they're 13, because you can't actually even start an account that says you're 12. So if they lie and say they're 13, then the organisation is that they don't hold any responsibility for that. So, but organisations like Meta have got around that by Messenger Kids. You can put a child of any age onto Messenger Kids, but the parents actually create the account for the child, which is that a written agreement that the parent has given permission to collect information about children. So, so they're clever. Tech companies will continue to find ways to get
around it.
To get around it, or to get, people using social media sites.